Either online. Online sekarang. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan salam sejahtera saya ucapkan kepada semua yang turut hadir hari ini. Welcome to the first session of the second day of BPPA Third Virtual Town Hall. Saya Atikah Kadri, saya akan bersama-sama anda hari ini untuk berbincang dengan tetamu kita yang we are so excited to have her today this morning untuk tajuk yang tak asing lagi untuk kita semua, iaitu effective assessment dari sudut pandang UFUTURE dan di mana the way forward. Thank you so much. We have Dr. Prasanna today, the anchor for iCEPS. And obviously, we also would like to congratulate Dr. Prasanna for such fantastic achievement, making UiTM proud, where she just being awarded Anugerah Akademik Negara Kelompok Sains Gunaan. Well done, Dr. Prasanna. Well done. So
Thank you,
welcome, Dr. Prasanna. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, great. Good morning to all those who are watching in YouTube, and very good morning to Dr. Atikah too. So thank you for the invitation. So I'm glad today to share information related to the effective assessment using UFuture.
Thank you. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Now, saya rasa Dr. Prasanna tidak asinglah untuk kita semua ya. Kita memang working with UFuture dan menggunakan all the functions that available in the future UFuture, and team Dr. Prasanna is like working all out to make sure that this is actually able to achieve the objective for serving us, the academic members. Yeah, right. So before we get into the discussion, I think it would be good. It would be good if I can just, share the background on top of her great achievement that I just announced just now. So Dr. Prasanna has been with us in UiTM for almost 17 years. I think with that vast experience and time, I'm sure that she had been, supporting the learning activities in the university, particularly as fellow as well as trainers in developing island. And she is active in competition, putting forward the ideas, and obviously those have been being recognized. And she had been receiving a list of awards, and the recent one, and I'm sure that with her experience, she'll be able to share with us the direction, and particularly on having the way forward, where we're moving towards having online this additional setups. So Dr. Prasanna, perhaps to give some, some backgrounds lah for us, yeah, to start with the discussion. I believe that you have been looking into the landscape of changes on LMS platforms, starting from islands and now becoming UFuture. Perhaps you can share with us, what are the challenge and how it has been the evolution so far.
Okay, it's a very good question, in fact. Why we actually started UFuture, there's a question mark is there, because we've been having a lot of platform before this, but the idea actually due to the multiple platform that we used to have. So example, we used to have Island for full-time students, iClass for part-time students, and then we do had MOOC platform under open learning. So as an educator, putting me as an educator front, I feel it's a bit difficult for an educator to manage multiple platforms, because you're talking about delivering. Because when it comes to teaching, the most important thing is you deliver, and the second part is on the assessment. So both is actually tying, it's very important. So when you want to deliver the teaching, so me as a lecturer, do I want to manage 3 different platforms? So that was the first question that popped up to me. So when I was given the department to handle, and then looking back into the process, so I managed to team a very dedicated team under me. I have a few of them working. I think everybody knows the team, they are here in iCEPS. So we, after talking, to my team and everything, we decided that why not we come up with one platform that basically caters for everyone. Because when you're talking about, now we are talking about assessment, but even for assessment, there will be educators that will be teaching the full-time students and also part-time students. Do they want to give the assessment in two different platforms? Do they want to manage it? So it's going to be time consuming for them. So to overcome all these issues and also challenges, especially in the educator perspective. So I, as an educator, putting me as in front, I want to make my life easier. So how I can bring forward this idea is when we propose to the management and also to HEA, our idea on integrating the entire process by having one platform. Uh, Thanks to the management, basically they actually agreed on the proposal, and we managed to come up with a platform. And all this happened, we planned, before pandemic, and we were kind of silent. We were doing a lot of testing while the island and iClass were, basically active, because we want to make sure everything is working fine, and we want to be in cloud. That means we want to give the best, when we want to give to the Warga UiTM. But what happened? The pandemic hit us. So when pandemic hit, we had no choice, bring UFuture out to everyone. We said start using it, although in infra level we are not ready to support, but we say that due to multiple platform, you can start using it. Of course, at the beginning, we had a lot of hiccups because you're talking about 180,000 users accessing platform. So we gave multiple platform while we are working background to expedite the process of moving UFuture into cloud. So the moment we move to cloud, we are able to do more. So a lot of things were possible, especially related to assessment. If you see the development that we gave in the assessment is quite a lot. So every 6 months, we give a lot of improvement, feedback that we get from the lecturers and also from the students, we try to improve. So that's on the perspective of the lecturers. But when we go back to the perspective of students, why we had this platform is, so we have UiTM students, but they were divided in multiple platforms. So student part-time are unable to access what full-time is learning. Student full-time is unable to access what is part-time is learning. So our concern is to give the students everything. That means they can pick what they want to learn, because every students, they have their learning style. So when you have multiple content that is available by multiple lecturers, variety of styles of giving, some of them giving PowerPoint, some of them giving videos and so on, they can pick. So able to pick according to their learning style. So that was our direction or intention when we say UFuture. UFuture is something that the name given, but the intention why we came up with this platform, because a lot of people were wondering why we already have iClass, we already had a stable iClass, and we already have Island. Why can't you look into that, just modify that and give to the lecturers? So it's not that. We want them to have the best with the convenient and save their time. So that's only possible when you able to change everything and we move forward to a newer one. So thanks to the academicians and also students, although at the beginning we had, uh, anything that's new coming up, there will be some hurdles, and, acceptance is going to be difficult, especially for students who are very comfortable with the platform. But once they see the advantage, when they start exploring the platform, we've been getting a lot of good feedback from the students, especially on the features that we have, where students can access, a lot of materials, a lot of things from the platform. So we've been getting a lot of feedbacks. On top of that, we are also continuously trying to give improvement by getting feedback from the students. Recently, we have launched our survey for the students, so hoping to get back more feedback so that we can give a continuous feedback from what we get from the students. In the perspective of the lecturers, we've been getting now and then, every time they do, drop us an email or, send me a personal message saying that, these are the things we are looking into. So whatever feedback that we get, we don't just put it aside. we will compile everything, bring it in together, and we will see whether it's significant. And if it is really significant and it's going to be benefit to all, we will try to implement it into the system.
Great, great. Fantastic, fantastic. It has been a quite extensive journey. I guess the dedication has been put, by the team. Obviously, I mean, as a Vision, we really appreciate that. And perhaps maybe the academician also have to play their part or their roles to, relearn as well as exploring, and in order to make use of the, great features that available, right, Dr. Prasanna? Okay, right. So, the last pit stop when we discussed about UFuture was about having proctoring. That was the last pit stop, right? So perhaps we have actually went through one cycle recently, like the last semester assessments. All the assessments, obviously, that will give a lot of signals on in terms of how many the users are and what are the area is a bottleneck area, and it would be great if all of us would able to see the strength or how your future has been coping with all this. You would like probably share some, some things that would give us an idea at what stage your future are and how it can move forward.
Yeah, I'll just share not so much, maybe about 3 slides to just give insight what actually happened the last semester, because last semester was the first time we were in cloud, managing a lot of users in cloud environment. So let me share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So when we talk about assessment, of course, there is lecturers have been using a lot of platform actually. Although we say that UFuture will be the official platform, they are also use other platform like Google Classroom and so on. But this is a statistic that's taken out from UFuture. So this is what really happened the previous semesters. So we had about 1,196 courses were having their final assessment using UFuture, and total number of unique students, unique meaning that one student might be taking few times. So meaning that we had about 61,656 students basically sit for assessment by using our platform. And this was the total seater. That means including the repeating students and everything. So that means the number of times students basically log in into the platform, and the highest access at one time. For your information, during the final assessment, we have scaled the platform to support up to 20,000. That means at one time, we can have up to 20,000 students concurrently accessing, because we have about 180 plus everything. So we were taking about 10%. So 20,000 we scaled up, but we only had the maximum hit of 7,000. And the highest access per day was 13,000. So we were somehow able to manage without much hiccups, meaning that there wasn't any issues in terms of system were down, system were available, but it's just that we had some other challenges that in cloud. Of course, you can plan so many things, but once we move to cloud, we did have some hiccups here and there, but we managed to solve it as soon as possible. So the biggest challenge was this three, okay? When we talk about security, cloud security is very tight, okay? So we didn't expect the security itself becomes a challenge for us, because when the students start answering, if the pattern of the answer, it's a bit, suspicious by the cloud security, they will block. Okay, so these were one of the issues that we face. So we somehow overcome by, having our solution backhand, and we managed to quickly, bypass the students, and the students were able to access it. And another issue, the IP. So if they have a very, suspicious IP and so on coming, also will be blocked. All this we managed to, overcome immediately through the feedback that we get from the lecturers, and also by the students themselves contacting us. So we're able to give them the access, solve the issues. Second challenge that we faced was not connectivity problem our side. This is the student side. Okay, a lot of, the instructors or the lecturers need to understand that UFuture is kind of something like LMS. Okay, and Google Classroom is different. Okay, Google Classroom is very light. They don't have a lot of processes inside. You can access using your phone. You're able to do that because it's very light, and most of the files are connected to the Google Drive, and it's a very light based platform that is available for teaching and learning, but you can't do beyond a lot of things. But in your future, you can do a lot of things, meaning that we can do a lot of integration, a lot of analysis, a lot of things can be taking place, but the student need to have a good connectivity. Okay, good connectivity, and another thing is on the device. So they have to use at least a computer or a laptop to answer rather than a mobile phone. So mobile, we are working on the mobile apps. We did some launch on the first version. We are also looking into mobile application enable, but currently it's web-based. So the best quality when you want to do an assessment will be, of course, by using a web-based system. And connectivity also was an issue whereby some of them were using mobile network where had intermittent, connections, not a very good signals and things like that. So we had this type of issues. So that is why that we always recommend to the instructors or the lecturers, try to understand the student first, because even myself, when I do my exam, I do ask my students, how is your network connection, because they are studying from the home. Some of them don't have the access, so we have to modify our assessment according to them. So if they are not able to take it in your future, you have to look into alternative solution for them. So are they going to, are we going to give them a question and then after 3 hours upload, or just share in WhatsApp through the phones? It's something that is possible, because we cannot, limit our mind by saying that, all the students have to use this platform or all the students have to do this, because we need to understand the student. Understanding student is very important, because they are not in campus right now, they are at home. We are not sure the environment they are learning now, what they are going through at this moment. So this is very important to understand. And when we give them the assessment, and of course your future will be the official platform, but you have any students, consider them and try to give them in an alternative mode. So indirectly, creativity will play a biggest role here for instructors, because you need to really look into how creatively you want to give in your teaching and also your assessment. Okay, so that,
Exactly.
yes, that's very important, because you cannot limit your mind by saying that no, you have to use this, because this is, in this current era, I think that is not possible. Unless you're bringing all your students, you say that you have to go to the exam hall, then that's okay, because they are here, they have to go. But now
Yep.
they're at home, so we're not sure what's happening. So this is the biggest issue, I will say, that understanding the students' issue, because
Exactly.
we need to know, then only we can, give the assessment to them. Okay, and lastly, we had few hiccups. Uh, Whereby our system heavily relying on data that is supplied from your future, especially for student data, lecturers information, syllabus, a lot of things. Okay, when there was a down in UiTM, we were in cloud, not supposed to be down, but at that moment we are not able to, connect because of the students login and also lecturers login. So we were relying on the student portal data and also student portal data. So what we did is, alternatively, quickly we came up with a solution. We provided a Google sign-in. So now all the lecturers and students, if you have any problem with student portal or staff portal, and you can't access due to that login issues, you can alternatively use your Google email sign in, because we're using a Google API. So that is something that we, overcome. So data integration, data interruption is always we can't, it's beyond our control, because although we are in cloud, a lot of people do text me and ask, ask, you are in cloud, why are you, we are having these issues. Especially some lecturers do personal message me, say that why my, suddenly my courses are missing. I said, yeah, because the data on the courses is depending on the data that is supplied to UFuture. So if there is any issues in supplying the data, or there's any, interruption, you can't have it, but you still can use it. So you have to manually add again, but there will be a process, but it's not that you're unable to use it. You can use it, but you have to do the process again, because these are the things that challenges and issues that we face, because although we are in cloud, we are not 100% independent. Okay, we are depending a lot of data that's coming in to us. Okay, so understanding that, we are trying to continuously improve, see how we can, stand alone without having much support, but there is some data that you still have to get it. So these are the things.
All right, fantastic. So obviously, these challenges has to be accompanied by solutions, and part of the solutions also come from the user themselves, the students themselves, and for them to not to shy away from using the platform, even though you need to do some extra mile checking this, connectivity and so forth. But losing the functions and the features is outweighed than just ditching UFuture. I think give UFuture a chance. Even though you need to do some checkups on your students, I think the you'll be receiving outcomes much better using good features and efficient assessment platforms. Okay.
Maybe
Now,
I want to add a
yes,
bit here, because
sure.
you see, well, generally there's nothing is perfect. There's always here there hiccups.
Improving.
So and when you're talking about system is not human being. It's just a system. So there will be always up and down. So we need to be patient. We need to, adjust to the environment. If anything happens, we need to quickly, find a solution, alternative, and don't give up. Because don't give up meaning that uh, don't give up in the sense of, sometimes they said, oh, every time, I'm using this, every time got problem, I don't want to use. So it's
Yeah,
not that, because the more I mean, we are our side trying to continuously improve, but we need a feedback, meaning that how we get a feedback is by using it. So if the lecturers and students start using it, we will get a lot of feedback for improvement, because a system is not built in one day or 1 month or 1 year. A good system will take a continuous improvement to come to one level. So
exactly.
hoping that this platform can be stand along with a lot of international platform like EDX, Coursera one day, which is I'm hoping can, with our
Yes.
team that we have in UiTM. Although I might not be here because I'm an academician. So with the team that we have in iCEPS, a dedicated team, I'm very sure that one day, with the improvement they're doing, one day we will be in that, you know, rank.
Yes, yes. I mean, have the end objective in mind. It's good for us to move forward, right, Dr. Prasanna?
Yes.
We're like having 450 viewers at the moment at YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any questions regarding UFuture, what else that UFuture can provide you, probably you would like to know or you would like to suggest anything, please let us know in the chat. We'll be entertaining to the questions very soon. Okay. Let's have a look into, you've mentioned just now your team has been receiving feedbacks and then, giving assistance to the users. Um, what are the common issues that being raised by the users, students and lecturer alike? Would you like to share so that we know, are we actually having it the same common questions, or what is your advice to overcome it?
Okay. Before we moved to cloud, yes, we had a lot of issues on accessibility. Issue was, always down, errors, because we had certain limitation, whereby we can only support up to 3,000 concurrent users at one time. So that was the biggest challenge for us at that time, where a lot of issues, that a lot of complaints, a lot of in everywhere, in Twitter or Instagram, anywhere you can see, they will just put the error message, and they will just comment that the system is down and so on. So yes, we understand that. So to overcome that, we move to cloud. So when we move to cloud, the challenges are different. So the most of the time that we get is only one, not all, only a few unable to access due to the cloud security. These are the things that I was mentioning just now. So maybe they are blocked to the cloud security. So if you have a class of students, let's say about 30 or 60 students, maybe one or two might be facing this problem because of some security issues where we have to fix it. So along the way, we are trying to enhance that. So this is one issue that we face. Another thing that we get feedback is they cannot connect, or when some of them try to use mobile, because our system is web design. So when they try to use mobile, we understand that student, some of them don't have a laptop, they relying on the their phone.
Yes.
So when they're using their phone, there is also some issues that we picked up. So we are trying to improve. We're trying to see how we can, customize it so that the layout can fit into temporary into the student mobile phone until we have the mobile version. Okay, currently assessment, we don't have a mobile version. We only have a web-based version. So this was a few things that we also picked up due to the display of the content that's coming out in the assessment. Although we say that we strongly advise students not to use mobile, but we understand some of them don't have laptops, so no choice, they will be using. So when they're using, they do have some issues that we pick up. We try to have them. So that's also some things that we get. So in the last semester, after we moved to cloud, so we didn't have much issues. So more on connectivity block due to the security, due to data integration, data is not there, things like that. So we try to minimize, but we still have. So these are the things that we have to face it. We have to face it, because if you don't face the challenges, you're not sure what is the issue with the system. So that is why that when you start using it, when the students start using it, we can pick up, what are the things that, that we can't see it, but the students and also the lecturers basically see it. So,
Okay. Right. So, in short, perhaps our staff, academician, please don't hesitate to give feedback, right, Dr. Prasanna?
yes.
Because sometimes people will like felt felt overdoing it, like keep on giving complaints and complaints. But on your side, complaints is a good news, isn't it, Dr. Prasanna?
Yeah, because I always tell to my team, it's okay, we are here to listen. We've been getting from the moment we started, the team been hearing so many, we get scolding, we get, so many things coming, but I always tell to my team, we are here to support. So we are here to listen, and we try to help the lecturers and students here. That's our role here in iCEPS, to help in teaching and learning. So whatever feedback that we get, although it's bad, how bad it can be, we try to understand why this thing happened, and we try to improve. So our thing here is, we are not reluctant or not shy to get some feedback, because this is something that we need to have. You have to face it. You can only be good once you can overcome your whatever lacking, whatever which you can't see, because we are working every day with the system. Even I might overlook it, because I'm so comfortable using it every day. So maybe I don't see it, but another lecturer, another perspective, another view can give us some feedback. So if you have any feedback, you can always drop it to us, and we always have a 6 months milestone, and we try to insert. So if anything that is small, which is really needed for assessment, we will consider it and we will, plug it in. And something that is quite huge, we will bring it to the following year for the development. But if it's really needed urgently by the faculties and so on, there are some requests coming from the faculty directly to us, especially on the assessment. We try to cater. If you look at the assessment now, we have a very nice dashboard. Okay, nice dashboard for you to monitor your students,
Yep.
because a lot of people, a lot of lecturers were telling they're not sure how many students have taken, what they're doing,
Yep.
you can't see it. So when you can't see it, we give you a visual dashboard. That means you don't see the students visually, but you can see what they're doing, what question they're answering, where are they, which one they have completed, so that you can monitor them in a dashboard. And quickly you can get, if you're doing objective questions, you quickly, which are the questions having problem, because the scores is already in the graph, and you know which is the highest, which is the lowest, and which is the question having issue for the students. So these are the things very important as a lecturer, because maybe they don't see it, but why we enable the dashboard is for the lecturers, actually, for you to pick up any issues in the assessment, and also what are the questions that students are basically struggling, so where the improvement, if that particular questions most of them cannot answer, that means you have to go back to your teaching and learning and look into the topics that you've been teaching. Maybe there's something that the student don't understand, so the coming semester you have to change the style of teaching for that particular topic. So this is a cycle, basically. Okay, assessment is basically a cycle. Assessment is interrelated with the teaching.
Learning.
So once you finish teaching, you want to, the learning outcome will be assessed by assessment. So through the improvement, you do the enhancement in the teaching and learning. So that is why that, BPPA is always all about, CDL, CQI, a lot of people doing it, but you need to really understand why we are doing it, because for the improvement of teaching and learning.
Right, right. Great. Right. So we also have a question here from our viewers. The question is on whether or not UFuture looking into assisting illustration mode of teaching. For instance, perhaps if the session requires some sketching and that takes place online, would there be any, possible direction having that function, Dr. Prasanna?
Yes. I will say yes, because we have, for teaching, we have quite a lot of things that is planned, because we have a 3-year plan, which a lot of improvement that we are looking into the teaching delivery also. We are looking into a lot of things like consider like desktops, desktops, whether it's possible to be integrated in or not, and having a whiteboard, for the illustration purpose and so on, upgrading our live class features that we have. So for those of you been seeing, looking into the features that we have a new features that's added, live class. Live class, we are still testing it, but lecturers can start to look into that. um, Once we have completed the testing, everything is okay, then we will blast to the lecturers, with the tutorial how to use it. So this is basically something like your Google Meet and also your Zoom. Alternatively, we have one features in the system for you to teach. So the improvement will be taking place from there, where we will see how we want to have furthermore improvement in that module. So we will start first with the basic. So every time we will start with a very basic level, and then soon we will have enhancement based on the feedback. So illustration, whiteboards is all in that particular, pipeline, but we are not seeing it very immediate implementation, but we are looking into a progressive. So meaning that first we will provide this, and then next and next. So we will see the acceptance rate first. You can't have everything one shot. You can't have everything one shot. So in terms of assessment, since there was a questions on, having the illustration,
Yep.
but in terms of assessment, the way forward is, we know that proctoring, what we enabled was image, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those who have been using our assessment module, we have an image capture. We started off with image because we want to see whether the students and also the lecturers, are able to access and able to use the proctoring service. The advance you have, it will consume more bandwidth from the students.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't immediately start, so we start slow. So the next that we are looking into is we are looking into AI proctor. Okay, where we are looking into facial recognition, we are looking into screen recording, and also the surrounding recording, things like always they want to know, because when you talk about authenticate assessment, it's all about, whether the student is basically sitting and they are doing or not. So the first level you can authenticate is by having the image recognition, because when you have an image recognition, there will be a series of image taken. There is no time, but we have, series of image that is stored in the system, and you can compare with the first is a manual comparison with the student portal pictures that's coming out. So you can first level of authentication can be done. But going further inside, you want to see whether the student is copying or not,
Mm-hmm.
whether they are looking into other screen or not, things like that. Of course, we have it in the pipeline, but it's just that it will take time. So as what I mentioned, we will put it as stages one by one, and sooner or later you will have a proctoring, the entire proctoring system inside UFuture. But currently we have image. To overcome the copying, what we did is we block students from copying the questions from UFuture and paste it. So students can't copy the questions. So let's say they want to Google, they have to type. Okay, and trust me, if the question is 1 hour, if they're going to type and find the answer, end up they're not going to answer one or two questions. So all this can limit them in terms of copying.
Proceeding.
Yes, so this is what we can do our side for immediate action. And another thing is, if the students copy and paste it, okay, copy and paste it, if the lecturer find it a bit suspicious on the content, we can have a check, because in our system we can detect not the front hand, back hand, where the content is coming from.
Okay.
So where the content is coming from, meaning that if it is a copy paste content, we can detect in our backhand level. So the front end we are not giving, because it's all in the proctoring in the process. But
Mm-hmm.
for immediate solution, if you find any suspicious scripts coming from the students, that you feel that this is a copy paste material from
Material.
somewhere, but it's not seen in visible in the system, but we can help you to check whether it's coming from a third source
Okay.
content or not. Because
Great.
students have to type in the text box, but when you bring another content in, we can basically detect the content is coming from where. But we cannot detect the exact IP, but we can roughly tell you whether it's going to be inside UFuture or it's coming from outside UFuture.
Right, right. I think that will be very helpful, especially when students starts to find easy solution. They simply get things from outside and just paste in their work. That will be able to at least give us some kind of evidence base to make any charges if that was found guilty. Correct? Right. So let's get on into the effective assessment. What UFuture able to provide us, right? If we look into the characteristic or the factors that can actually give impact to its effective assessment, is one of them is having student engagement and motivation. I am sure that on UFuture there are a lot of features, there are a lot of functions that can get actual connection from the instructor with the students. Would you like to, share or give us a refresher so that we're going to get ready for the next coming semester happening next week, Dr. Prasanna?
Okay. Okay. Engagement and motivation is quite huge. Okay, quite huge topic in terms of assessment and also teaching and learning. We, the platform provider, we give you the platform. Okay, we give you the platform, we give you the features and everything. But don't forget, the key of any assessment or teaching and learning is the way it is designed. The platform is just to supplement, to make your life basically easy to have a platform. But the key to have engaging and also motivating assessment or teaching and learning is the way we design. So we have to design in a way that we can engage the students in learning, okay, which can achieve the student outcome. That is very important, because if you say that you're going to teach 1 hour and you're just going to come to the screen and you're just going to talk entire 1 hour and you're going to go off, you're not sure what's happening the other side. Same things go to our class. We go into the class, we give 1 hour lecture, you stand in front there, you teach,
And you leave.
you teach until 1 hour done. Okay, do you have any question? They'll say no, I don't have any questions. So this is not creating engagement. Engagement meaning that when you design the learning, it needs to be engaging enough. So the way I usually teach is not in that manner. Since many years ago, my way of teaching is totally different. I prefer to use flip classroom or flip MOOC. Okay, this is two concepts that I use, whereby my students are given the materials and tell them which one to learn first. I will give them, if it's going to be a flipped classroom, usually I have some materials given before pandemic. I give them materials upfront. I will upload in the LMS some content for them to read. And then when they come to the classroom, it will be basically solely on the engaging the content. You have to design in a way in the classroom where that particular learning outcome of the topic can be achieved by using the activity they're doing. My classes are all based on activity. So when they come into the class, is more on engaging in group or individual. I have a lot of activities indoor, sometimes outdoor. I bring them, during before pandemic, and we used to do a lot of activity. And at the end, the important part, achieving the outcome. So when during the pandemic, it's was a bit difficult, but somehow I manage it. So for the courses, I have a series of learning short videos, contents. The students have to follow and learn first. When they come to my online class, I don't teach for 1 hour, because that 1 hour of teaching, you don't know what's happening over there. They end up, just switch off the camera. The same thing happening to my son. I'm seeing him how he's, going to the classes. He will off the camera, he will be sitting and doing something else. I said, your teacher is teaching. Yeah, I know. But, they're basically not concentrating on the 100%, because you don't see them. So one way of creating engagement is by having your activity designed even in online environment, which you can do that. So it can be a group, it can be an individual. When you design carefully in an online environment, you basically can have the outcome achieved, when it comes to teaching and learning. So when you do your assessment, okay, it is interconnected. So when you're able to design in an engaging way, motivating way for the students, the learning, so when you give them the assessment, they're able to do it because they do it through understanding. Because I don't believe in teaching. I don't believe in teaching. I believe in facilitating my students, whereby I like to teach them how to learn. So this is something that they need to have, they need to have. So I facilitate them, I teach them how to learn. So if students having problem in learning, I will call them, they will come, consultation, I will teach them. The topics don't understand. So even when I meet in the online classes, let's say some topics students say they don't understand what they learn in online, I will pick only that topic and I will just do a sum up on that. Then followed by the activity related. So that is what I said, engaging and motivating is not on the platform. Platform is just giving you medium for you to deliver engaging and motivating content. So the content and the engagement, basically the design
Right.
comes from us.
Right. Yes. Yes. That's the principle of making sure that the learning and assessment is organized and
Yes.
able to achieve the outcome. Yes, that's correct. Exactly. Okay. Now, let's move into question delivery. When you would like to have assessment, you must make sure that your assessment is being delivered to the right people, to the right group. And I understand that UFuture provides a platform as a question bank platform, right? And moving towards QBS, do you think this platform question bank will stay before the transition, or are we academicians able to use this feature still, Dr. Prasanna?
Good question, actually. Okay, this is what we've been working with our HEA team, technical team. We understand that currently we have QBS that is developed by HEA, and we have a question bank that developed under UFuture. Okay, that's two different things. So what happened is we are trying to integrate in, because we don't want to revamp the wheel. Revamp the wheel meaning that when you already have something, why you want to do another one? So rather than enhancing our question bank system, so we thought of, why not we use what we have, because HEA team has worked so hard to come up with a QBS system. Why not we integrate? So we are currently working with the team and seeing how we can able to bring the question that's already approved in the QBS straight into UFuture, so that they can just pick the questions and just enable in the system, because UFuture is basically for teaching and learning delivery. QBS is the questions, that is set. So why you want to, download in PDF and you want to upload, or you want to key in one by one. So we can, if we can enable the process of whereby the lecturers basically can take the questions that's already approved, I think that will be, of course, I'll be very happy, because I'm also teaching, I'm also a lecturer. So I find it very difficult. Okay, why I want to download and then upload again, when you have a very nice system is already available? Why not we make them to talk each other? So we are trying to work on that. It will take a lot of because these two platforms are two different platforms. They have a different language and they've been talking, differently. So now when you want to make them to talk in a language where both understand, it will take some time. It require our team in iCEPS and team in HEA to do a lot of work. So they already have a lot of work, and they are still, trying to see how they can, make it possible for the Varga UiTM. Yes, I will say yes, we will try somehow make it available, but we are not sure in what format. We are still working on it. So give us some time. So once it's available, we will do a testing first. So once it's everything okay, we will do the announcement to Arga. Same goes to the continuous assessment. A lot of people, even myself, when I'm doing my assessment, if my marks can be, straight uploaded to ERES rather than,
Key
me
in.
downloading and pasting it, it will be awesome, right?
Yes.
Yes. So this is what also we are looking in way forward. So we are doing one at a time. So we will look into the integration of QBS. Then next we will see the how UFuture can talk to ERES. So
Right.
these are the things that we're working with
This.
the team. And thanks to, HEA's team, they've been also very helpful to us, whenever we call them, whenever we ask them any help, they're always there to support us. And they always work together to make, they also have the same vision, why you want to do things when it's already there. So we always work together with them. So we will try to give the best. So it's coming, but just give us some time. We will see how to make it possible integrating into the system, because there's two different process. One is bringing in from outside, a different language is coming in the form of questions. So once the students have completed their assessment, the marks is going out in a
Right.
different language
Mm.
also going out. So these are the things that we are working on now.
All right, but obviously that's in the pipeline. So
Yes.
I guess Amir Abdullah, who posted this question, whether or not this coming semester will be having the linkage between QBS and UFuture, it's coming soon. So we hope that Dr. Prasanna and team are able to find the best solution, and everybody's looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Dr. Prasanna, for that. Okay, so at the moment we have 705 viewers on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep on that question coming in. I'm sure everybody is so excited about getting ready for the next coming semester. I guess this is the time where all the lecturers are trying to figure out what kind of options of assessment that they have in mind, how it is going to be designed, how is it going to be constructed. So it would be good to look into UFuture as the platform for delivery to your students to reach out. Right. So now, when we do assessment online, there are things that we would like to have in order to make sure that you can make the assessment as fair as possible. So that is where you have collaborative marking, for example, or you probably need to have syndicated marking to make sure that the assessment being assessed in a fair manner. So on your future, Dr. Prasanna, is there any way of the warga able to have that features, Dr. Prasanna?
Okay. For your information, we already planned to have syndicated marking, second marking, moderated marking, the types of marking that we have in the assessment to be available in your future. In fact, we have completed our development, the first phase, and we will be testing on assignment module first, because the marking usually, of course, when we talk about assessment, we have two modules in your future. One is assessment, one is assignment. So assignment will be more on continuous projects, case studies that you give to the students. Assessment usually will be more on real-time based, where you have like 3 hours and so on. So we will implement in assessment first. We will test it if everything is okay, and then the module will be implemented in assessment. Yes, you can look forward for that. It's almost ready, but we need to do some testing before we put it into the system. So once everything is done, we will open to you. So you can look forward in assignment module first. For example, second marker, group marking, more than 2% marking, you want to get, like example, one assignment marked by 2%, you want to get average, moderators, things like that. We will be making it available in assignment module first.
Right.
It's coming.
Okay. All right. Great. So apparently, we have a very long wish list, Dr. Prasanna.
I know, because some things we don't say it loud, but we are working a lot behind here. So it's just that we don't say it loud, but don't worry, we have a 3 years plan here, where we have a lot of things planned, but most of the things that lecturers request, we already have in the pipeline. It's just that whether the matter of when we're going to deliver that, because we have a lot of things. So when something urgent comes, like example, BPPA or HEA request something urgent, we will put the others in hold and we will cater to them first. So we will deploy that. So like recently TESA. So TESA is something that was very urgent. So we had to put on hold some things that we have planned, and we cater to TESA. So whereby the teaching evaluation index, things are available. So they want to be integration in the system. So things like that, when we do, other things might a bit slow down, but don't worry, we will give it to you, but it's just that matter of time.
All right. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. Now, you mentioned just now that the linkages between QBS and UFuture will take place. I mean, in the making. While waiting that ready, is the UFuture question bank still accessible? Would the warga able to use the platform under UFuture question bank before we kick off?
The UFuture question bank we will remain because for test 1, test 2, and so on, a lot of lecturers, they prefer to use the question bank because UiTM is something very unique because we have multiple lecturers teaching. That means we have a lot of lecturers coming, from many campuses. So what they do is usually, from our observation, when we see into the system, we understand how it works. So usually they will say, okay, chapter 1, one lecturer, chapter 2, one lecturer, chapter 3, one lecturer, and they will have a lot of questions already there. It's already there in the system. And what they do is when they have test 1, test 2, they are basically using the whatever they have in the question bank, and they keep building inside there. So that question bank will remain for continuous assessments. Okay, it's just that we never uplift further for final assessment because QBS is already there.
Okay.
We had our pipeline to basically move, bring it up, but since QBS is already there, we are not doing the alignment or that. So it's done by QBS. So we are basically, bringing in. So in our question bank, we will have some alignment, but basically to fit for test 1, test 2, kind of it. So you can still use it, and we will not remove because it's being used for test 1 and test 2. So it's just that for final assessment, we will use the QBS for integration.
All right. Oh, okay. So I guess at this point of time, all lecturers can actually still use the QBS bank question function, which I think it's good because that allows us to make random questions and setting questions for the sets of questions they're coming up with. Okay, now I would like to move a little bit further in terms of this assessment marking, particularly. We have been dealing with marking assignments, students' submissions, tests, for example, in terms of postgraduates, right? At the moment, postgraduate has their own platform of, delivering their theses and marking and stuff. Would there be, some time that we can actually do this marking of thesis, postgraduate thesis, on UFuture? And in terms of authenticity, and any embedment of, for example, original that is available for that marking purposes, Dr. Prasanna?
Okay. There's actually two questions here. One is whether we want to integrate or not, because we always believe in not revamping the wheel, because if it's already there, we don't want to do it again. So if that process is going on fine and it's already smooth, we will never think of bringing it inside. But however, if in future there is a request by the management, requiring, to uplift our existing modules or, things like that, usually when something comes, we will look into uplifting the existing module. So usually they will say that we need this process to be included in UFuture. So we will study the process and see how we can, because UFuture is very unique because we have a lot of process running. So it's being used by full-time students, part-time students, MOOC users. We also have outside students now coming in, non-UiTM students coming in to learn for lifelong learning. We have micro-credential. We have a lot of, short courses, or to say what, a lot of courses that's being developed in the platform. So the content being created. So you have a lot of users inside. So when you want to add on the process, it needs to be carefully studied. So when you say marking on postgraduate, it is possible, but we are not doing it because it's already there, the process. So they have a standard process where they have a flow which is being used in a totally different platform. So we will not be making it available unless there is a request that's coming from the management and we have to look into that, then we will see it. For time being, no. Most of the time,
okay. Yep, go ahead.
we won't revamp the wheel. And the second question was on the
authenticity.
Authenticity, okay, yes, we are looking into how to integrate original API inside, where when the students submit their question in their or their answer, sorry, their answer in case study mode or even in the assessment. Okay, in the assessment when they do a short essay kind of it. So we are looking into how we can use the original API to do a check, plagiarism check. That's also in our pipeline, but we are currently backhand. We need to do a lot of things. So we're trying to study on the API, how to do the integration and so on. So we're working on towards that. So you will confirm will have the API integration. So that's why I say that temporary we had this, we don't allow the student to copy the question. If the student types something, we can detect backhand. This is all temporary, but in future we will have a plagiarism check, so whereby we will integrate the original inside and we will see the plagiarism check that's taking place by using the API from original. So this is coming, but as what I said, we have a lot of things in our bowl. So we are trying to do our best to give the best to all the Warga UiTM. So it will be coming. Give us some time, one by one in stages.
Well, fantastic, fantastic. It's good to talk to Dr. Prasanna. I mean, it's like she allows us to keep the list on wishing list on and on. But as you know, the user, I think we need to be very patient. We need to give time because things cannot be done overnight. Okay. Now we have this question from our viewers regarding annotation. Right. So I guess all our academicians are very used to, scribbles and comments on the scripts, right? So it's like natural, you write down instead of key in the keyboard. So is there any way of having that function? And I'm sure this everybody's looking forward to this function, Dr. Rasana.
Yeah, in fact, I was mentioning this to my team recently, the person in charge. I was talking about the inline marking. This is what we call inline marking.
Okay.
We are actually looking into it because we found, even myself, because I'm a lecturer, I'm also marking, you see. So when I mark, I also feel that, things that can be improved is this marking, because I'm so used to marking by reading and giving the marks. But when time goes, that I feel that, oh no, I think I want to scribble. Well, I should scribble something on the script. So these are the things I already put in the pipeline. We have in the pipeline. We are looking into seeing how we can do this. The marking. This is something that I won't say it's impossible. It is possible, but it's just that, as what I said, it takes time. So we have in our list, don't worry, we have it in the list. This is what we call it as marking when the student submitted, and then we have the inline markings. So you can mark in between the submission of students.
Right, right. Nice, nice. I mean, well, that function is also, helpful whenever you have ideas and you'd like to, comment immediately before it gets blank. So we look forward to that, Dr. Prasanna.
Yeah, for temporary solution, what I asked my team was to provide a feedback at the end of each
Oh,
question. Okay,
yes.
if you notice that this is something recently we added few semesters back. I know inline marking will take some time because they are working on other things. So temporary, what I asked them is at the end of each questions to have a feedback. So let's say you want to give some feedback, rather than scribbling, you can temporarily type it down. And as overall, there's another one more feedback that also
Right.
we enable overall feedback. So which you can also do that. So these are the things for temporary fix, we have it. But for permanent fix, of course, I know that that is very important. So we have it. As what I mentioned, we have a 3 years plan for this platform. So we have in our bucket. So we try to give you your wish list.
All right.
So
Thank you so much, Dr. Prasanna. Okay, last
we've been
question.
working a lot on the assessment for your information compared to the other
Oh,
modules, because assessment is something that we've been working so much.
we are so thankful on that. That obvious is going to help us a lot. Okay, this is the last question. Very simple question. You have dashboard. Great that you can see that. Is that dashboard time sensitive? Sometimes we can see that students answer question in split seconds. So that is an alarm indicator. So it happens to me when you give questions, and I am sure there's something behind when students answer MCQ question in split seconds and they get good grades, good marks. So is there any time sensitive or time factor that is being presented in the dashboard?
Actually, we do a real time. It's a real time capture. If you have also is not very much, maybe the duration will be very small, not much. But as what we call, it's real time. That means when the student answering, it's something all real time we are capturing and we are giving to your dashboard. So if the students able to answer in split second, um, that means it's either like usually let's say short, let's say like short questions like that. Sometimes what the students does is they type, they
Ah,
type in Notepad, they type in Microsoft Word, and then they copy and paste it. So it looks like they're doing it very fast, but in fact they actually typing it somewhere first. So that could be one of the reason, because when you see it, it's not answered, and then suddenly when you open, it's answered. So you'll be
right.
wondering, okay, it's not in answering stage, because we have three, right? In progress, not answered and answered. So suddenly not answered, and then tiba-tiba already jawab
Answered.
kan. So I think it alarming the lecturers, but actually what they're doing is some students, they prefer to type it because they are so used to phobia with UFuture, because we had a lot of hiccups before this.
Yeah, get
Even
ready.
now is okay, but they're so used to the system where that it used to have disconnection and errors popping up. So even my students, I also told them, but they said no, they're not confident because they scared they get disconnected or things like that. So they do type in Word, or to save, they type everything first, then they copy paste inside. So this is what happens actually.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. Okay, Dr. Prasanna. It is such an interesting session that we have today. Thank you so much for your insight, for your sharing. Perhaps you'd like to give us your final remark, advice to all academicians that are getting ready for the next coming semester. Your final words, Dr. Prasanna.
Okay, before my final word, maybe I just want to add up another one more thing. We are also working on creating the attendance list, because recently we are getting a lot of requests on the attendance list. So currently what I tell them is, when you go to the grade book, you print the grade book. So in the grade book, you have a status, whether the student have submitted, or not submitted. So that will be your attendance. But since quite a number of them require for auditing and things like that, so we will do a PDF there where the attendance list will be generated upon completion of the assessment. So you can actually just click and print it out as an attendance. So you get an attendance, just like an attendance when you go for exams, rather than doing the
Oh,
attendance, you get in a PDF form, you can print that and keep it as a proof of student attendance for assessment. So that is something that we will enable soon for the lecturers. Okay, as a conclusion, is what I really hope that everyone use UFuture. That's of course our first request will be, because the more you use, the more you feedback, the more improvement we can do towards the system. It becomes stronger and stronger, and better and better day by day, from the feedback that we get from the instructors and also from the students. Okay, and things that we have to keep in mind as an educator is, UFuture is just a platform. Okay, you can use UFuture, you can use Google Classroom, you can use Teams, you can use any platform. But the most important thing is we as an educator designing our teaching and learning and also assessment. So always remember, first thing, understand your students. You need to really understand your students. Coming semester, understand them, because we have hybrid coming in. That means you have some students in class, some students will not be in class, you know, things like that's going to take place. So look into the best way of delivering your teaching and the best way that you can give your assessment. Okay, that's most important thing. The way you design, the way you deliver is very important than the platform itself. Platform, yes, we are here to help you, but don't rely 100% on the, 100% the platform will do everything. Okay, you cannot expect that the students learning outcome can be achieved by the platform. No, platform is just intermediate or medium for you to reach to your students. So how you want to reach? So it's you as an educator, you have to design the assessment, look into alternative assessment, be creative, open your mind, rather than having a normal way of assessment, look into alternative way. Okay, if you're giving a continuous assessment, always be very, specific. Rather than just giving them the question alone, try to give them with rubrics. We do have rubrics, manage assessment inside. So when you give them a rubrics, it will give them a clear understanding. So this is very important, because when it comes to assessment, the student really need to understand what they need to do. So if you give in rubrics, they're able to see, okay, if they are doing this case study in introduction, if they cover, this is the amount, 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark, 5 marks, and then if you have weightage, things like that. So this will give them a better understanding. So this is not late yet. So if you've been working with continuous assessment all this while, giving them just a question, try to improve the assessment by having rubric based marking. It really works, because rubric based assessment will not only have the students, also help as an educator like me, because you will really know where the student is lacking in the detailed analytics screen. So when you go into the analytics screen, you can really see where is the lacking. Is the problem is why the students are not, a lot of them not scoring in that particular criteria. Then you can really focus on that in the coming semester improvement. So for the continuous teaching and learning, I think it's very important for us to look into the way we design our teaching and learning. That's very important. I think that's my last word. So don't think that UFuture can, achieve the learning outcome. UFuture will never achieve the learning outcome. UFuture will help you to reach to the learning outcome. I think
All
that's all
right.
for me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prasanna, for the advice. Obviously, that will give us, additional motivation to work better in this coming semester. So, to conclude the segment, it's fair to highlight that UiTM, particularly UFuture, is up to the challenge in providing effective assessment platform, and personally BPPA encourage all academic staff to experience this fantastic tools that UFuture is offering. So for our viewers, thank you so much for being with us. And in this following sections, we have more interesting segments at 10:45 later, topic of technology enhanced assessment with Prof. Madati S. Dr. Shamsul Nur Azlan Muhammad. So please stay with us 10:45 a.m. So ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the first segments of the second day of BPPA Third Virtual Town Hall. I'm Atikah signing off and wishing everyone a productive semester.